Good afternoon. It's great to see you all here on a beautiful summer day towards the end of the summer, I know, but always a good time to come and celebrate a new business in the city of St. Paul. We're going to hear from our owner of La Costa in just a minute, Judy Lopez. She's been open since not Cinco de Mayo, Cuatro de Mayo, but it was open up in time for the festival. And this is one of the great new businesses that's opening up across the city of St. Paul. We've been very fortunate over the last many years to see continued growth in every corner of our community. We've seen great new restaurants like Ward 6 opening up a few years ago. You're the old granddaddy now. You've been around so long. New businesses like La Costa, and really all across the city of St. Paul, we're seeing new growth, not just in the restaurant and the entertainment sector, but we're seeing new businesses coming into downtown, along the central corridor. And it's really been an evolving process from the beginning, from the time that I came into office 12 years ago. I have said that we have to be responsible to business owners. We have to make sure that we are meeting their needs, and we need to be willing to ask ourselves as the city how we can continually improve our operations, balancing out the important safety work and regulatory work that we do, but with the need of a business owner. And so with the collaboration of the City Council, many of whom you will hear from in a minute, our great department directors who have been instrumental in this, we have really said, what is the next step that we can do to make sure that St. Paul is in fact open for business? So today we're here to celebrate the culmination of that work, and not the end of the work, but the culmination of this this next chapter. Again, continually asking ourselves the questions: how can we improve our business operations? How can we make it easier to open up a business in the city of St. Paul? I think that we have had great success, but we know that we can do better. So I want to just thank you all for that. There have been some really important partners that have made this work possible. Obviously, our council members that have led this effort. Here we are in Councilmember Naker's ward, my old ward, when I was on the council. But Councilmember Tao and Councilmember Prince are with us this afternoon. We have Ricardo Cervantes and Jonathan Sage Martinson, two of our department directors with Department of Safety and Inspections and Planning and Economic Development. Because I think that in those two departments you really understand the interconnection between economic development that Jonathan leads with the regulatory environment that Ricardo leads. And the fact of the matter is, if we're not, as agencies, as departments in the city, continually working across sectors, working towards a common purpose, we'll never be able to achieve the business-friendly environment that we want to achieve in the city of St. Paul. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to our business owner, our proprietor here. I can attest, Judy, that your husband is a marvelous cook. After 5 straight days of fair food, don't get me wrong, I love fair food, but it's nice to sit down and have a great meal. And I'm looking forward to many more nights watching the Wild or Minnesota United or the Vikings, if they actually can win a game this year. But we're very excited to be here at your restaurant. Ladies and gentlemen, Judy Lopez.
Yeah, a little bit. There we go. Hello, my name is Judy Lopez, and thank you for being in my restaurant today. I wanted to thank everybody for being here. My husband and I dreamed so much of having a restaurant and in St. Paul. We also live in St. Paul, a couple minutes away, so it makes it nice to live and work in St. Paul. And to make our dream finally come true. La Costa is the first Mexican sports bar and grill. It's very modern. We wanted to make it our own, very unique. We offer the classic tacos, enchiladas, your classic plates that Mexican restaurants have to offer, but just a little modern twist to it. It can be challenging to open a restaurant, that we noticed, my husband and I. So just like any other business, it could be challenging, but the city of St. Paul made it very easy for us and finally came true. I couldn't believe how many supportive people we had in the city of St. Paul, especially the inspection people. Were very, very nice and made everything very easy for us to come true. we're just, I just wanted to kind of finalize that we're proud to be business owners here in St. Paul. Sorry, I'm just a little nervous. And I just wanted to thank everybody for being here, and I hope you guys enjoy the food because my husband and I put a lot of time and effort into this place, and hope you tell your friends and families to come back and support us. Thank you.
Yes, thanks, Judy. It's really a phenomenal restaurant. Come for the guacamole, everyone. It's to die for. And the atmosphere is fantastic, and you've got a full bar and sports. So anyway, congratulations, and we'll all be back. And thanks, Mayor, because as the Mayor said, we could not have started this initiative in 2016. Council Member Ditau, Council Member Rebecca Naker, and myself could not have done this without Mayor Coleman and without the department heads and our city staff who came in and were incredibly creative and responsive, as you will see more of up here. These 4 guides in 3 languages plus English, Spanish, Somali, and Hmong, really are a breakthrough for our ability to support the diversity that is St. Paul in opening a business here. When we started the process, we started with an advisory committee made up of our neighborhood business associations, and a whole bunch of them are here, so if you could stand or wave your hand or whatever, there's a whole bunch. And they were not shy about telling us what we could do to do a better job. They then helped us reach out to the 50 or so businesses that participated in 3 listening sessions last summer, where we got some phenomenally important feedback from businesses about how we could have made their lives easier and what we can do better going forward. So from there, the city staff from PED, the Planning and Economic Development, the Department of Safety and Inspections, to some extent Public Works, the Heritage Preservation Commission, all came together along with our unbelievable innovation team to really make the rubber meet the road. So it's my honor and pleasure to introduce an East Sider, a resident of my ward, who was part of the advisory group that met in June of last year. Eric Foster, the proprietor of Ward 6 Food and Drink, is just going to say a few words about the beginning of that process and where we're getting today.
Back up it goes. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, as Mayor Coleman was saying, it was 5 years ago right now that my partner Bob Parker and I were getting towards the finish line of opening our restaurant. It was a long process. It took us more or less 2 years of work and wrangling and negotiation. And I think it was very brave of the city to put a bunch of business owners in a room and ask them what the city could do better, because business owners have a tendency to complain about these sorts of things. And I think they heard a lot. And I'm glad that a lot of what they heard is reflected in the initiatives that they're launching. I think it's a great step forward for St. Paul. One of the things that I said in the listening sessions, and I was just thinking about this the other day, because when I was calling Stephanie in Councilmember Prince's office, it came up on my phone as Kathy Lantry, which is what any of the city switchboard numbers come up in my phone. And that's a relic of 5 years ago when I used to joke that I had my council member, Kathy Lantry, who's now moved on to bigger and better things. But on speed dial. And one of the things I said in the listening sessions was, you shouldn't have to have a council member, that's a friend and a big supporter of what you're trying to do in order to open a business in St. Paul, because not everyone has access to that. Not everyone knows that that's what they should do, is call their council member and complain. So it's important to have things that expand access for people that don't have those connections or that understanding of the way the city government works and where the ways are that you can get things done. So I'm glad to see this. I think it's a great step forward, and looking forward to lots more businesses opening, and thanks very much.
Why, thank you. I don't know about you guys, but I actually think we should do one of these in a new business opening in St. Paul every day for lunch. What do you think? I think we could do it too. We have enough of them. It is thrilling to be here today at the culmination of a first year of such exciting effort. Councilmember Prince and Councilmember Tao and I, when we started this effort last year in coordination with the mayor's office, I think we were a little bit nervous about bringing all those business owners into one room to listen, not because of the listening, but because I think we have a lot of listening sessions. And sometimes we don't follow those up with the doing sessions and the feedback sessions as to what we heard and what we did. So it was really important to us to come back to you at the end of a year of work and say, here's what we actually accomplished with what we heard. And I'm really proud to say that we are able to do that. I think what we've done in the last year is a tremendous first step. As the mayor mentioned, it's not the end, and I know the mayor and my colleagues and I are committed to keeping this going. But here's just a little bit about what we were able to accomplish in year one. So first and foremost, we heard that communication was a critical barrier, that if business owners knew what to expect through the process, that when challenges came up, they would be prepared for them and they wouldn't be quite the same obstacles as when there was complete confusion about what would be going on. And so one result of this effort that I'm particularly proud of is our pocket guide to doing business in St. Paul, which is being launched today, available in hard copy, also available online in, I think, three different languages. And what's really exciting about this guide is not only how clearly it lays out the steps that you need to take to open or expand a business, but it's also interactive. So on each page, there's notes, and it's actually intended to be a guide that our staff can use to walk through the process with an interested applicant. So it's not intended to be a one-way street, take this guide and go do something. It's really supposed to facilitate the conversation and to keep that conversation going. So I'm thrilled about the pocket guide. However, we also heard, and this is sort of the most obvious tangible result of the work, but we knew we needed to do more. We also heard we need to focus on customer service. We need to make sure that the city is a partner and not a barrier in business owners' work. So we knew we needed to do more to make sure our staff were prepared to deliver on that customer service. And we also knew we needed better coordination amongst our departments so that when someone came to City Hall to start the process of opening a business, it didn't become a full-time job just to work with us. And so Director Ricardo Cervantes from the Department of Safety and Inspections is going to come up in a moment and tell you a little bit more about what we did to streamline those processes and to make sure that our staff are coordinating going forward. But I just want to close by saying I'm extremely grateful to all the business owners who've worked with us so far. I could not be more excited to be in St. Paul representing Ward 2 at such an exciting time when so many businesses are opening and expanding. And this is just the first step toward making our city an even more open for business destination. With that, I will turn it over to my colleague, Councilmember Tao, to talk about the future of the program.
Mayor? Okay. Before I continue, I'd like to bring Councilmember Prince back up here to finish something here for us. Yeah.
Thank you, Councilmember Tao. One thing I was supposed to mention is that part of the Open for Business initiative was that we launched the St. Paul Business Awards. And I don't know if we have any of our award winners here, show of hands. In any event, our advisory committee, which is here, became the selection committee for awards that were nominated by, anybody could nominate businesses in a variety of categories, and then there was a People's Choice Award where the public could go online and vote for someone, anyone they wanted, and it was amazing. And our first business award ceremony was so incredibly inspiring. It was new businesses that have been here for 100 years, large businesses, small businesses, women and minority-owned businesses. It was great, and we're going to keep it going because recognizing our businesses is such an important part of making the city work. So.
Thank you. You know, if this feels so good. I remember the first time we sat in that room, and we all wasn't sure where we were gonna go, but we knew that we didn't want to be where we were, and that we knew that we could do better. The council members, the mayor's office, and looking back, it's like, you know, having a newborn, right? And watching that child learn how to crawl. And then today, that child is walking. I don't know if you have kids before, but I think that's one of the great metaphor, I think, of this process for us. There was diapers that we had to change, right? Things that we had to, how about that? All right. Look, I want to thank all the businesses, all the partners for your leadership and helping drive this initiative. You know, as elected official and public servant, we know and we are forever grateful that without you, we wouldn't be here. And without you, the city of St. Paul wouldn't be as strong as it is today. And so we owe you so much thanks, and we really appreciate you investing in the city of St. Paul. And we made great strides with the Open for Business initiative, but you know, this is just the start of a different level where the city of St. Paul is getting upgrade. And many of you work in technology. We have to upgrade from Windows 2007 to Windows 2010, things like that. So, and so the future is bright for us, for all of us, for the city of St. Paul. But there's still things that we can do better in helping business owner operate their business in St. Paul to make it easier by using technology and by providing superior customer service to our new entrepreneur and our businesses, and to provide equitable capital so that folks in the community can start their businesses. We still need to do more intentional about growing African American businesses, growing Latino business, and immigrant businesses, and millennial businesses. And we also want to do a better job of protecting our small and mid-sized businesses so they can continue to thrive in the city of St. Paul. And that's something that I'm looking forward to, and I'm looking forward to doing that work with my fellow council member, the mayor's office, all the different departments. One thing that's proven out of this whole project is that it takes all of us working together and everybody loving the city of St. Paul. Everybody's coming from a good place, try to make St. Paul the best city to do business. And we all know that, but we got to do a better job of getting out there and letting folks know that this is the place to be. And as Mayor Coleman mentioned earlier, it took a lot of the effort from the city staff. And so one of the persons I'd like to introduce to come up here and after me, he's someone that when I got onto the city council, he was a good listener. He was always responsive, very open to innovation, very open to figuring out how to make things more efficient and better. And I'd like to introduce Director, Department of Safety Inspection, Ricardo Cervantes, to come up here.
Thank you, Mayor. And I want to thank all the council members, too, in regards to this initiative, for all of your insights, your leadership, and your support throughout the Open for Business initiative. As the mayor had mentioned, Open for Business initiative really builds on existing efforts to create an attractive climate for business to open and flourish in St. Paul. This is yet another effort to make it easier to open businesses in our city. La Costa, this restaurant right here, is actually a beneficiary of some of those previous changes to make it easier for businesses. And I just want to point those out. The first was some changes to our city charter as well as our city ordinances that allowed greater opportunity for restaurants like this to actually apply and obtain a liquor license, a full liquor. And so that was passed 2 years ago. We also eliminated some outdated language about ratios of food and liquor sales so that establishments like this would be compliant with those ordinances. They were called the 60-40 ratio ordinances. So we did away with those. And then lastly, which is a really major change, for spurring business in our community is some of the parking requirements that we had previously. So if you were a wine and a beer restaurant, you actually needed to provide one parking space for every 125 feet, which made it very difficult in some of our, we're a built city, and some of our neighborhoods actually achieve that. And so we reduced those parking requirements for one space for every 400 feet. And so they are actually benefiting from all of those ordinance changes. Open for Business includes a lot of our internal city efforts to streamline business processes and increase our cross-departmental coordination. We actually have launched a new online portal, and we've dedicated a fully staffed phone line where businesses can call and obtain information to maneuver all of the requirements within the city. Throughout this work, the Department of Safety and Inspections will better publicize and expand the role of our project facilitator within our department. The project facilitators are specialized in helping our business owners by answering questions, by providing them information, and showing them the direction in which they need to get their reviews and approvals completed. In addition, we've worked hard to streamline our process, working with other departments within the city, such as the Department of Planning and Economic Development, as well as Public Works, and develop business license checklists for our entrepreneurs, so they really know what it is they need in order to start the process. And then through our guide and through other tools, it'll help them navigate the system so they know what the order of the approval is. Which things can be done simultaneously, and then which things need to start at the beginning. So through close departmental collaboration, the city provides a variety of resources for businesses looking to locate or grow in St. Paul. And we are more responsive than ever to help meet those customized needs. As I said, in a built environment, there may be processes that seem very complex, but we're really here to help you all through that process. And with that, I'd like to introduce our partner here, Director of the Department of Planning and Economic Development, Jonathan Sage Martinson.
I was going to make it easy for you, Mayor, just go with Ricardo's height, but I guess not. Thank you very much. It's helpful to have a mayor who knows the way around stage and microphones. I want to thank the council as well for your partnership, and Ricardo in terms of working together on this initiative. Ricardo and the council members mentioned a number of improvements. I'm just going to mention a few more of the pieces that have been a part of this puzzle. One is that over the last 4 years or so, our economic development team in PED has grown by 30%, and that's done mostly through moving resources around within departments, so we have more hands on deck to help businesses grow and start here in St. Paul. In addition to that, in 2016, the department renewed our economic development strategy. It's a 3-year strategy that set very specific goals around helping increase tax base, increasing jobs, and then helping provide St. Paul residents access to those jobs. So for the first time, we have both a renewed plan and real concrete goals that we're reaching for. In addition to that, we've recently announced 2 new initiatives that are part of the mayor's budget that were talked about just a few weeks ago that we're really hopeful for the future. One of those is the Full Stack St. Paul, which is the new initiative that came out of the Innovation Cabinet that Councilmember Tolbert and the mayor convened to help us think about how we grow innovation sector jobs in the city. Among other things, it set a goal by 2020 to increase 2,000 tech-related jobs in the city by providing targeted supports to a specific sector that both is really strong, has a long history in St. Paul, but is really important to pay attention to. And the second is a new loan program. It would be a new tool that we would use at Planning and Economic Development, particularly in low-income communities, called the Job Opportunity Fund. And that's a specifically focused loan program that will help businesses start and grow in low-income neighborhoods so that we can provide increased tax base, increased jobs, and again, have great access to those jobs. So I think you've heard briefly about a new awards program, a pocket guide, change in regulations, new loan programs, lots of opportunities to hear and grow and change as a result of input from businesses. And we think with that full package, we have a lot to offer businesses in St. Paul, and we're committed to continuing to work to find new ways to make it even better. Thanks for coming.